Lakers' three players who are now buyout targets after Anthony Davis injury. The Los Angeles Lakers suffered a huge blow in Wednesday night's win over the Utah Jazz as Anthony Davis went down with an ankle injury. Luckily, the Lakers avoided disaster as the X-rays on AD's ankle came back negative and he should not miss a significant amount of time. His timeline to return is at least 2 weeks. It could have been much worse. While the time that AD is going to miss might not be that significant, it still hammers home the point that the star forward cannot stay healthy. Davis has a long injury history to his name, and the entire reason why the team lost in the first round last year was because he could not stay healthy. We often talk about the Lakers needing to lessen LeBron James's workload, but perhaps we should be having this conversation about Anthony Davis. It is no coincidence that the 1 year that the Lakers won, and Davis stayed completely healthy, was the season that was delayed by 6 months because of the COVID-19 pandemic. After the Anthony Davis injury, the Los Angeles Lakers need to add depth at power forward. The Lakers do not have a true power forward behind Anthony Davis, and even as he returns, the team needs to be careful with his workload. To help Davis stay healthy, the Lakers should be looking for someone who can take some minutes at the 4 and actually be a power forward. The buyout market is not plentiful this season, but there are still some potential options for the team to consider. 1. Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap was included in the blockbuster trade that sent James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers, and there is no guarantee that he is bought out by Philly. The 76ers are a contending team that could use all the depth it can get and have already played Millsap this season. However, we have seen examples of this in the past where a contending team cuts ties with a veteran because the fit is not perfect. After trading Seth Curry in the Harden deal, the 76ers could absolutely cut ties with Millsap if there is another shooter that they want to sign on the buyout market. If that is the case, then the Lakers should be calling Millsap's agent. Millsap is not the same player that he is in his prime, but he is a true power forward that could help AD at the position as well as even play some small ball 5 for the Lakers. He is someone who could help keep Davis's workload at a manageable place heading into the playoffs, while also being someone the team could play in the frontcourt with Davis also on the floor. He is not an elite three-point shooter, but he can stretch the floor both from the three-point line and in the mid-range game. He is only averaging 11.2 minutes per game this season, but on the Lakers, we could see his role return to what it was with Denver last season, where he was playing 20 minutes a game and giving the team around 10 points and 5 boards a night. 2. Woogie Diong. Woogie Diong did not get traded during the NBA trade deadline, but he could be bought out for a similar reason as Paul Millsap. Diong is not getting many minutes on the Atlanta Hawks, who have struggled this season and are going to look for any spark that they can. If someone emerges on the buyout market for the Hawks to sign, the Diong might be the first player to go. One team's trash could be another team's treasure, though, as Diong would give the Lakers a stretch 4 to take some of the load off of AD. Diong has operated as a stretch 5 in his career, so while he technically is not a power forward, he is still someone who could take some of the load off of AD. He helps space the floor as he is one of the best shooting big men in small volumes in the entire NBA and does not hurt the floor spacing like Dwight Howard or DeAndre Jordan. Diong is shooting over 40% from 3 this season and is shooting a combined 42.7% from 3 over the last 2 seasons. He is not someone who is going to dominate the glass or block a lot of shots, but in today's NBA, that is less important. Like Millsap, he is someone who could not only take some minutes off of AD's plate but could also play on the floor with him as well because of his ability to shoot. He would even fit nicely in a Russell Westbrook as the small ball 5 lineup, taking the place of Trevor Ariza as the 4. 3. Derek Favors. Derek Favors is someone who we have touched on before here at Lake Show Life, as he could even be included in a potential salary dump trade for Russell Westbrook this offseason. There is a chance that Favors does not even reach the offseason as player on the Thunder, as the team could buy him out. Favors does have a player option for next season, but at $10.1 million. Favors could very well bet on himself. He would not be the first player to do this, and agree to opt out of his contract for next season and instead get bought out for the rest of the season. He could look to go to a contending team and earn a new multi-year deal by playing a big role on a big team. The Lakers might not be the best team for Favors to do that on, as the team might not make it very far in the playoffs, but LA still has a massive spotlight. If Favors comes to the Lakers and balls out next to LeBron, which a lot of players do, he could earn more money in the long run on a new contract. Favor is a similar power forward center mold as Davis, although he cannot space the floor like the other players on this list. He has a good mid-range game that keeps the floor spacing from being awful, but he is not much of a three-point shooter. He would be more of a direct replacement for Davis to get his minutes down. The pick-and-roll potential with him and LeBron would be really fun to watch though, as Favors was one of the best pick-and-roll bigs in his prime. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.